Okay, so today we're going to do a mobility workout. This workout is meant to be short. It's meant to be low intensity. Depending on how stiff you are, it could be more challenging in some exercises than others. But for the most part, what we want to do is use this workout. It should be about 20, maybe 30 minutes, depending on how quickly you move through everything. We want to use this workout to get our body to relax, and especially the hips, the shoulders, the thoracic back, which we'll go over a little bit more here. Those are the areas that we tend to get really tense and tight and have trouble turning, and we're going to help open up those areas and feel good. Mobility, stretching, moving without weights should be a part of your workout. It's going to help prevent injuries and overall just help you move better. So you don't have to have that little nagging worry, like if I get up off the couch, am I going to strain my back? This is where mobility comes into play. All right, so we're going to start off our workout today with a 90-90 stretch. So you're going to come down onto the floor into this position here. So you want to think 90 degrees to the front, 90 degrees for the back leg, okay? All right. Now, some people do lift this leg up. I can't do it. It's a glute strength thing. I certainly cannot do that, all right? So what we're going to do here is we're going to sit up nice and straight. You should feel a little bit of a stretch or a little bit of a muscular engagement in the hip here, all right? And then you're going to lean the chest forward towards the knee that's down. You're going to feel a stretch through the glute and through the side of your leg, all right? Demonstrating, you won't feel it on this leg, you're going to feel it on this leg, but it's easier for me to show it here. And then you're going to sit back up. But the thing is, as you're sitting back up, you want to make sure that you're pushing this leg down, because the idea of it is to be able to get some muscular engagement along the glute and the IT band into the hip. So as you come down, nice and controlled, we're not flopping forward, push the leg down. So in the next rep here, as I'm coming down, all right, almost like I'm pushing the leg down and sitting up into it, okay? This leg's just going along for the ride. As I come up, I'm gonna feel that tension in the hip here, which is okay, which is what I wanna feel, all right? I wanna feel a little bit in the glute. This side's definitely getting stretched while this side's doing the work. What we're going to do is we're going to do 2 sets. We're going to do 5 on each side. But what you're going to do is you're going to hold each down motion for 5 seconds. And then you're going to push away. Pause at the top for 5 seconds, 5 counts, whatever you want to do. And then we're going to switch sides. And we're going to do the same thing. Coming down and push away. Make sure the chest is not turned one way or the other. It's going straight towards the knee. If by all means you can't quite get in this position, do the best that you can. And then you're going to push yourself back up. Right now I'm using this hand as stability. You can hold this here and go down and do the same thing. It's going to add some intensity to it, all right? But you want to use your arm for support as you need to. This is going to engage the hips much more, engage the core much more. So if you're not ready for that, just continue to keep your hand on the ground. The more advanced you get, the stronger you get. Down, hold for 5, and then back up. See how I'm kind of like turning to one side? As I come back up, that's what you don't want to be doing. And we're going to hold in that position there. All right, so that is your 90-90 stretch. It's a great way to get started in the day. Opens up the back, opens up the hips. We're going to move on to the... Next up, we're going to do a kneeling lat stretch with a stick. Okay, so I'm using a PVC pipe, which I'm using as a replacement for a mobility stick. A mobility stick is basically a PVC pipe with fancy paint and a label on it. Okay, I got this for like $3 at the hardware store. So something to keep in mind, instead of paying $50 for mobility sticks, you can go get your own PVC pipes at various lengths for a fraction of the cost. If you don't have a PVC pipe, you can use a broomstick. If you have to, you can use just like a piece of sports equipment, whatever it is that you have available. But what you want to do is you're going to kneel in front of your bench, and you want to make sure your elbows are in and your hands are out. Don't let the elbows go out wider than the hands. Keep the elbows in, at least even with the hands, or preferably this position where you're just slightly outside of the elbows. And you're going to kneel in front of a bench, all right? And you're going to stick your butt back, all right? And now you can put your head on the bench, or if you want to get deeper into the stretch, you can take your head off and dip down a little bit lower. This will definitely help out with some thoracic mobility if you're low on it like I am. All right. And what we're going to do is you're going to extend the arms forward and you're going to reach back. As you're doing this, you're going to feel a stretch through the shoulders and through the lats. So through the side of your back, again, into that thoracic area. Reaching, hold for, again, about 5 seconds. And relax it forward. You can extend forward if you want to. That'll get a little extra tension, a little extra stretch through the arms, and we're reaching back. All right, if this wide is too much, you can always narrow everything up. All right, the wider you go, the more intense it gets with your hands. Again, remember, we're keeping the elbows in. All right, and we're not extending the elbows out. Keep the elbows in, hands out. So if I really wanted to get intense, I could move my hands away and do it that way. I don't have the mobility to do that. I like to keep my hands just outside the elbow and making sure I'm reaching back. All right, we're going to do that again. We're going to go 5 with a 5-second hold, 2 rounds for this one. All right, we're going to do one more for this upper back area. Okay. Next up is a thoracic spine. So we're going to think like, you want to think middle to about the shoulder blade area. A little below it, a little above the shoulder blade area. That's your thoracic spine. If you're going to be doing this exercise, you want to get the foam roller right under the shoulder blades. All right, not on the shoulder blades, not way down here on the lower back, right under the bone of the shoulder blade. That's a great place to have it because it gives you that, allows a little bit more room to do the exercise. And what you're going to do, hands behind the head. I like to keep my knees up, engage the core so that it's not going anywhere, because we don't want to be going up and we don't want to be sagging down. We're not doing crunches here. We're doing a thoracic extension. So we're going to take that deep breath and we're going to extend ourselves over the foam roller. And we're going to hold for 5 seconds and then bring it up. Gauge the core and really reach it back. This is a very good feeling stretch. The foam roller will give you a little bit of that myofascial release. Notice how my back is naturally arcing, but my core is in place, right? I'm not dipping down and I'm not lifting my hips up off the ground. And we're gonna hold. Use the muscles in your upper back to get that extra squeeze. All right, we're gonna do, again, 2 sets, 5, with a 5-second hold. All right, that is some great mobility for the upper back. And that's really gonna help you, especially on your, obviously your upper back exercises, but also on your squats, your bench press, your deadlifts, right? Being able to lock those lats in. Thoracic mobility is something that really needs to be paid attention to. Use these exercises that we just did. The stick reach and then the foam roller extensions to help open up your back. And we'll go from there. All right, on to the next exercise. The next two exercises, we're going to be using a kettlebell. If you don't have a kettlebell, a dumbbell is fine. If you don't have a dumbbell, for the windmills, you can just use your hand. For the halos, I would recommend grabbing something, whether it be your shoe, for example, and you'll see why in a moment. But we're going to start off with the kettlebell windmill. Kettlebell windmill. Start off in a hips even with your body stance. You're going to take your kettlebell, all right, and you're going to raise your arm up over your head. The opposite leg from the arm that's up, you're going to step it forward, okay? And you're going to, I like to turn my hand out here, and we're going to stick the hip out, and the goal is to keep this kettlebell pointed towards the ceiling and rotating the back. So I'll show you this from a couple different angles. I'm going to take a little bit wider of a stance. But as we're doing this, we're rotating, all right? So you're going to feel this through this area here. This is working your lumbar spine and creating shoulder stability at the same time. So we're turning. All right, and we're going to do 5 on each side. So I'll do this one from a different angle so you can see how I'm turning a little bit more. All right, arm up, lock it down into that stability point, and I'm turning. As I go down, I'm giving a little tiny rotation as I'm turning down. I won't, again, opening up my back, creating stability through the shoulder. The goal is to keep the shoulder pointing towards the ceiling and reaching down as far as I can. As I'm doing this at the same time, I'm not lunging forward. What I'm doing is actually sticking this hip out. And bringing that back up. Okay, so you want to make sure that you have stability through the legs. You don't lock the knees, but as you stick out, it's all right if this knee bends. Don't lock this one. And we're kind of rotating as we're going down. Great way to strengthen the lower back, add some more mobility to the upper back. And we're going to do that one more time here with the Kettlebell Halo. Okay, again, you can use a dumbbell. You can use a shoe for this particular one, but you're going to hold your kettlebell right in front of you. And then all you're going to do is turn it, and we're going to rotate it around the body, back to the center, and rotate it around. Notice that I'm not just moving my hands around my head. I'm getting my entire body to kind of circle around. This opens up the entire spine, opens up the core, gets you all kinds of opened up through here, right? And you're going to go 5 in one direction, and then we're going to switch it up and go 5 in the other direction. Okay? And we're going to do that. Open up the back. 5 one way, 5 the other way. And again, you're going to do that 2 times. On the windmills, you're going to do 5 on each side 2 times. Really feel that through the core. Get everything engaged. Really open it up. Don't go super heavy with the kettlebell, but use one that's not super light. But like the weight here kind of helps me trail along, and I got to use the muscles in my body, in my core, in my back, to help stabilize everything. And that's definitely something that you want to be able to do as you're doing these exercises. Don't be all loosey-goosey. It's about control and going slow. Let your body go to its current capacity, and then you're going to pull back from there. All right, a couple more exercises to go. Okay, next up is going to be a stick. Good morning. So we're going to grab our PVC pipe mobility stick if you have one, or you're just going to use your hands. If you're using your hands for this one, you're going to bring your hands up behind your head, prisoner pose, all right? So I didn't come up with the name. But what we're going to do is we're going to take our PVC pipe and we're going to put that right here on our shoulders, because we're going to squeeze the shoulders down, right? So here we go. Squeeze those shoulders down. This locks the upper back into place, all right, and gives a little stretch and mobility to the shoulders. The closer in you bring the hands, the more of a stretch you're going to feel through the chest and the front of the shoulders, which could be a good thing if you're, tight in that area. All right, but we're going to relax that. Okay, we're going to go a little bit more narrow with our stance, right? So here's my normal deadlift stance, because we're kind of mimicking a deadlift, but I'm going to go a little bit more narrow. I do this because then it really stretches out the hamstrings and I have to utilize the hips more. Again, don't lock the knees, keep the knees a little bit on the looser side, all right? And we're just going to bow forward. Go to the maximum capacity that you have. You're going to feel a stretch through the hamstrings, and then you're pulling yourself back up. I'm not lifting with my lower back. I'm shifting the hips forwards and backwards. All right, shift and forward. So if you look at it from the side, I'm not just bending over. I'm sticking my hips back, going as far as I can, holding that for a pause or two, and then using the hips to bring myself forward. To bring the hips forward, you have to engage the core a little bit more, right? Otherwise, you're just going to stand up. But you got to use your belly to pull the hips forward, okay? Narrow stance, bow, and use the hips to come back up. Sticking with that, use the hips. Trying to keep my back straight, head up. We're not trying to roll. Keep the head up. That's why we got the shoulders locked into place here. And using the hips. This is a hip and hamstring opener. It's a great way to just get blood flowing through your whole body, all right? So there's a reason they call them good mornings. You can do them when you first get up. Real quick, if you're doing this with your hands, make sure that your elbows are not coming forward. Arms locked out at the side the whole time. And as I'm bowing forward, I'm keeping my arms back as straight as I can, all right? Now, when I do it this way, this kind of changes the ability of my mobility based on the stiffness of my shoulders. Now, I have really tight shoulders and a really tight thoracic spine, so I'm not going to be able to get as deep as I would if I were holding it with the stick. So if that's the case, maybe the practice with your hands for a little while is a good idea. All right, we've got one more exercise to go. All right. Last exercise is more of a stretch than it is a mobility move, but it's a great stretch, and it is a child's pose. If you ever taken a yoga class, you have done child's pose. If you've ever gotten up off the floor and done a quick stretch, you've probably done a child's pose. There's a bunch of different ways that you can do this, but for what I want to do, I'm going to set my legs out wide. I do this because it gets into the hips a little bit more for me, and on the inside and the outside of the hips, I get a better stretch through the quads, and I feel like I get a better stretch through my back. So that's why I do it that way. Some people like to do it more narrow. Some people like to do the frog version where they're out like that. If I do it that way, I feel like I'm never going to be able to get up again. But take my position here. I sit back onto my heels, and I'll slide my hands forward, and I relax into it. I relax my arms until I know that I can get my head down farther. If you want your head supported, stack your hands, okay? And you know, I've got a very tight back, so I can feel this in my back right now. But we're holding this for 2 minutes. As my back relaxes, I can start moving hands away, and ultimately my head will be on the floor. But I can feel that stretch through my whole body. So we're looking at it from another angle. Sit back into it and reach forward, letting the head hang, and I'm going to feel a big stretch through here, through the hips, all in through the body. And that's my child's pose. And I'm going to hold that pose for 2 minutes and just breathe and let the body relax. Come out of it slowly so that we don't pull any muscles that we had just relaxed and gotten feeling better. And that is our mobility workout. Again, should only take you about 20 or so minutes. Doing this demo, it took me a half hour. It won't take you that long to do it. It's all about nice, slow breathing. You shouldn't be profusely sweating. You should feel warm. You are moving. But keep in mind, it's a relaxation, recovery workout. It is not meant to build muscle. It's not meant to increase your cardio condition. It's not meant to burn fat. It is meant to help you recover. The better you recover, the more efficient your workouts will be, and the more efficient your goals will be handled, right? Losing weight, burning fat, getting stronger, improving your performance. You have to recover in order for those to be more efficient. All right, that is all we got for today. Crush this mobility workout. Do it on all your non-lifting days. At least once a week is my recommendation. And I hope that you all have a great day.